Guys, I need help. I started playing backpack battles and I can't stop. There's thousands like me. Please help us. So I've always kind of avoided the auto battler genre even during its massive peak a few years ago with the release of Teamfight Tactics and Dota Underlords. And while they looked fun, they seemed a bit complicated and I was too lazy to learn how they worked, so I never played them. Then Super Auto Pets came along, which immediately hooked me with its incredibly approachable gameplay and the luxury of letting me spend as much time in the shop as I damn well please. But after a while, I felt that I had generally figured out the win conditions of that game and it got kind of stale. I wanted a middle ground between the simplicity of Super Auto Pets and the depth of TFT and Dota. Backpack Battles is just that. As you've likely guessed, Backpack Battles is an auto battler where you accumulate items on a round-by-round basis to become stronger and pit yourself against other players to rack up 10 wins before running out of lives. The twist here, however, is the method of player progression. During a match, your inventory expands and you must strategically arrange your items to get the most out of their effects, abilities, and utilities. The result is a system that is both easy to learn yet incredibly deep, even with the limited number of items and classes present in the demo. I keep forgetting this is a demo. I can't remember the last time I put 18 hours into a goddamn demo, except for maybe playing the demo of Sonic Heroes a billion times as a kid. So how does this game work exactly? Well, you start by picking a class, each of which has their own special starting backpack as well as a few exclusive shop items to that class. You receive an ever-increasing amount of gold to spend each round on various weapons, armor, potions, and other items to grow in power. Again, very simple on paper, but it gets much more interesting when you account for the fact that it's not only important what items you buy, but where you put them. The frying pan gives bonus damage when placed next to food, potions activate bonus effects when placed next to other potions, and so on. Certain items can also be combined to make new, more powerful ones, similar to the matching system in other auto battlers. On top of this, expansions to your backpack vary in size, shape, and bonuses that can be placed in any position and orientation that you want. This makes the construction and organization of your inventory a unique puzzle every time, and if you're like me, you'll probably spend way too much time fiddling around with your inventory until it's just right. Going back to the classes, there are only two at the moment, the Ranger and the Reaper, but their differences greatly impact your overall strategy depending on which one you go with. Their starting backpacks and the aforementioned unique shop items for each class open up easier avenues for certain builds over others. Crit builds, for example, are more easily scalable on the Ranger class, whereas lifesteal or poison builds are more catered towards the Reaper. The system isn't so strict as to make certain builds inaccessible with each class, however, so you aren't screwed if you don't acquire a lot of poison items on Reaper, for example. All of the aforementioned elements create an extremely wide array of possibilities. In the time I've played since recording this, I've done magic builds, crit builds, armor builds, damage over time builds, and my personal favorite, a card build exclusive to Reaper where you make a train of cards with varying effects that are incredibly satisfying to see activate over the course of a battle. Another feature I really like is the option to continue even further into a run after getting 10 wins. There were times in Super Auto Pets where I felt like my build was just getting started and before I knew it, the match was over. Here, I get to make like Goku and go even further beyond with late game builds. It's a neat little risk-reward system that can grant you more ranked points if you accept the challenge and succeed, but give you less if you don't. It's too fun for me not to give it a try, so I've clicked yes every time. All of this probably sounds and looks complicated, but trust me when I say that it's incredibly intuitive. I got a grip on how things worked within my first couple of matches, and even if you're not familiar with auto battlers, I think most people can pick up and play this game without much trouble. That being said, there is a lot of depth here, and winning isn't as easy as just stuffing as many items as possible into your inventory. Take a look at this matchup. Who do you think is gonna win? Yeah, the credit goes to Kaiba for that one. There are some kinks that still need to be worked out. Rearranging your bags can be a bit of a pain because you have to empty them before they can be moved. There were a few times where I had to dump all of my items just to move my whole backpack 1 or 2 squares, then go through the process of putting all my stuff back in, sometimes forgetting how I even arranged everything in the first place. There are also some balancing issues with some of the items, most notably the spiked shield and spike builds in general being way too powerful. As a whole though, I'm incredibly impressed with this demo, and I highly recommend people give it a shot, even if you're not a fan of auto battlers. The gameplay loop is extremely addicting, and I still plan on playing this demo for the foreseeable future. There's a lot of potential here, and I'm really excited to see what this game will look like when it's finished. Though, I'll honestly be happy as long as things like this blender of a crit build I made are still possible. Hey, hold up. I'm going to be streaming over on Twitch on Friday at 4 p.m. We're going to be playing some RE1 because I've never played it and I need the footage. Feel free to swing by. My link will be in the description below. Thanks.